Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm to be recapping the second half of the live action Wicked adaptation, that being my Wicked for Good, which I'll be recapping in this episode. But before I do, I'm recording this episode on Saturday the 6th of June, 2026, which is when this next block of episodes will be recorded. They'll have the same recording day as that's kind of what I tend to do with the podcast, because I wasn't planning on doing that, and then kind of I'd injured my shoulder, so kind of I wasn't in the right headspace to record episodes, so they've just been sitting there waiting to be recorded. So it's kind of the opposite. Normally I think the last block was quite Big Finish heavy. This time it's very TV and film heavy. And we have got a Big Finish thing to talk about in a couple of episodes' time. But yeah, primarily TV and film. So as I said, we're going to be recapping Wicked for Good. My recap for the first part, so Wicked, is available on the channel. And I should say, I'm sorry for taking so long to actually get to this episode. I think I watched it only about a week ago, so I was planning to record it fresh after, but I wasn't able to. So, before I spoil the events for Wicked for Good, here's the trailer.
Couldn't be happier.
It's more important than ever that you lift everyone's spirits. As only you can.
Does that do what I think it does?
No.
No way! I'm obsessulated.
The one really sells it.
Because happy is what happens.
The girl.
When all your dreams come true.
It's the Wicked Witch. You can wave that wand all you want, but you have no real power.
I'm a public figure now. People expect me to lie. Be encouraging.
You can't resist this.
Who could?
You know who could.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see the wizard.
Bring me the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. So I have proof that she's dead.
Stop this. It's gone too far. Elphaba, they're coming for you. Just look at me.
Not with your eyes, with theirs.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason. Here's the plan. I have no plan.
Well, I do.
Oh, thank God.
Haven't you heard? I'm the Wicked Witch of the West.
The comet calls the morning as it passes the sun, like a seed dropped by a skybird in the distance.
This is the work of the Wicked Witch.
Who can say everything changed for the better? Because I knew you.
What have you done to me?
Because I knew you. Because I knew you. Think of what we could do together.
That was the trailer for Wicked for Good. So if you haven't watched Wicked for Good or the first Wicked film, and are waiting, I don't want to be spoiled, then I would suggest turning off now, because we are going to enter spoiler territory for Wicked. The first film kind of leading into Wicked for Good. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's available, I think, on most digital platforms, so I had to pay a couple of quid for it, but it was a lot less than what would have been to go to cinema, hence why this episode is a lot later on than I potentially would have liked. But yeah, anyway, so here is the recap bit of the episode for Wicked for Good. So we start off following the end of Wicked, which was released a year prior. This was released in November 2025. The first part, Wicked, was released in November 2024. And ends with basically Galinda and Elphaba being separated, and Elphaba being called the Wicked Witch of the West after wanting to expose the wizard, played by Jeff Goldblum, for his lies, and he's not who he really is. And Galinda is kind of manipulated by Madame Marple, I think it is, or something along those lines. I can never remember the name properly. Played by Michelle Yeoh, who kind of the clip actually in the trailer where it says "Our wizard lies," she changes that to Oz dies, so she kind of still keeps up with that, and then actually. This film kind of is in two halves, because the first part, Wicked, kind of takes place completely before the events of The Wizard of Oz, which obviously we know known for the best part of 90 years. So, well, that's when the first film came out. And then, so kind of the first half of Wicked for Good takes place before, and then we kind of go a lot parallel to the events of The Wizard of Oz, with meeting Dorothy and Toto and the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion. And we actually learn who the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, not the Lion, who they actually are. We don't see Dorothy's face, because obviously Judy Garland has unfortunately passed away, I believe. Let me just check that that's right before I say something that's wrong. I would imagine that's the case. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, I don't know why I kind of doubted myself for a second, but yeah, it kind of runs parallel with the events of that, and we learn. But before that, there's a fight between Glinda and Elphaba, and over kind of Glinda basically being manipulated and used by Madame Markle to be kind of the spokesperson for Oz, and kind of inspire everyone, and kind of go against Elphaba being deemed the Wicked Witch of the West, and kind of is a brand new turn, because obviously Wicked obviously tells the story of Galinda and Elphaba meeting and how they become. It's very strange, because we thought and I will get to this bit, we thought we knew their stories, and it's a really tiny portion of it, because it's 1.5 movies before we even get to that, and there's something that happens at the end that if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, and I will get to that. But we also, as I said, but the manipulation continues when Madame Markle wants to teach Elphaba a lesson, so creates a storm and ends up trapping her sister, who Nessa, who we learn is the Wicked Witch of the East, who is killed by Dorothy's house at the start of The Wizard of Oz. But before that, towards the very beginning of the film, Fiyero, played by Jonathan Bailey, and Galinda, played by Ariana Grande, get engaged, and then Fiyero cheats or betrays Galinda and for Elphaba, and he gets involved with the fight and ends up getting taken away, which both Galinda and Elphaba doesn't want. So Elphaba does a spell and try to save Fiyero's life, and that's how we learn that Fiyero becomes the Scarecrow. Nessa, before she's killed by Madame Markle, trapped by a house, she wants the person that she loves to not have a heart anymore, so she uses her magic, because she has the same skills that Elphaba does to turn him into the Tin Man. And then Elphaba has to kind of try and undo it. She can't. She can just save his life, similar to Fiero. The only difference is that Elphaba doesn't know that Fiero's alive. She just hopes. And then kind of this is where it gets parallel with the Wizard of Oz film. So obviously we see we also see the creation of the Yellow Brick Road as well. Elphaba kind of speaks to some of the animals that she met with Galinda in the first film and all of that stuff. And yeah, it's I thought I knew the Wizard of Oz quite well. I've never seen the Wicked stage show, so maybe if I had, I would have known about this, because I assume it's the same outcome, the same story. Obviously, just live action versus a film rather than a play. But yeah, we see some of the events of the Wizard of Oz. So Dorothy, the lion. Toto, well, not Toto, the dog, he can't talk, but Dorothy, the lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man talking to the wizard, asking for things, and the wizard wanting the Wicked Witch of the West's broomstick in return, which is where the biggest twist is, where Elphaba and Galinda basically say goodbye. This is obviously very towards the end. This is really heavy spoilers now. And Elphaba tries to reassure Galinda, hides her in the cupboard so she can't be spotted, because she doesn't want to basically damage Galinda's reputation even against where they stand on certain things. And then we believe that Elphaba has been killed because the mythology of the Wicked Witch melted and water is thrown on her, as established in the Wizard of Oz film all the way back in 1939. We learn that's not the case, that she had a plan with Fiero. So Fiero and Elphaba reunite. Obviously, realise that both are together, but they mention that they can't tell Galinda any of this. And the film ends with a song of that Galinda, Fiero, and Elphaba are all singing. But obviously, Fiero and Elphaba know each other's alive, but can't tell Galinda and Fiero. Yeah, it was a nice ending. Not the ending I was expecting, but that's kind of it for this episode. So let me know what you thought of Wicked for Good if you watched as well as the first part. Wicked, which obviously recaps are now available for both of them on the channel. But without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.